Hi, my name is Janneth, and this year I had the unique opportunity of being invited to the United Nations High Level Political Forum by the Mary Ward Center and Sisters of St. Joseph, Toronto. The UN is a highly sanctified organization, so this came as a very rare opportunity for me, especially as an immigrant in Newfoundland, and I'll be sharing some of my reflections. Beyond the initial excitement of just being at the UN, I noticed the complexities and bureaucracy within the entire process, and while it is a huge step forward to see NGOs being invited to events as such, there are still very limited opportunities for participation for the NGO representatives, which means we miss out on meaningful input from people on the ground, people who are most affected by these global issues. On the topic of the Sustainable Development Goals, one of the points that came up most frequently was that 17% of the targets related to the SDGs are set to be achieved by their 2030 deadline, which looks promising, but something that I feel did not get enough attention was the fact that 32% of the targets have a regressive trend, and these are mainly targets related to SDG 13, climate action, and SDG 16, which is peace and justice in institutions, and these are arguably two of the most important SDGs with huge potential to impact other SDGs and their progress as well. So there's definitely a need for more concerted global efforts, and there was even a call from some of the smaller countries for a greater support from major carbon emitters, especially for those that are more vulnerable to climate change. But still, there is hope. Countries like Oman and Yemen presented their voluntary national reviews, and they have made huge strides toward climate action. These are nations that have heavily oil and gas based economies, so their progress is an example of how change is possible even in challenging circumstances. As a youth representative, one of the highlights for me was attending the side event by the UN Youth Office, and this was my first exposure to them, so I was very happy to see the UN moving from a more bureaucratic and traditional style of delegacy to having more youth at the table. While I feel like involvement in the UN Youth Office is still somewhat exclusive, it's still a huge step forward to see that change. But a question that needs to be addressed not only at the UN level but globally is how can we make youth representation truly inclusive rather than it being based only on access and privilege? To wrap up, one of my key takeaways was how there is a lack of awareness about SDGs in my local community in Newfoundland. So my next steps forward will be to get the youth involved here to not only raise awareness but also start advocacy for progress on SDGs, to see more efforts. I'm hoping to find partners locally and to partner with some of the organizations that I already volunteer with to start making progress right here at home. And I hope others can do the same.